Yes, we are live. Massive greetings to everyone, followers, friends, foes, basically everybody. Today, now the 22nd of December 2023. The time on my side is 9 p.m., which is British Standard Time, or abbreviated as BST. Once more, greetings to everybody. My name is Prince Emil Koma. This is the TNN TV Media Podcast. The channel every year, of course, every responsible organization, they go through changes and etc. And we are no exception. So Unaguyeri will refer to itself more as a podcast other than a TV, or maybe go with the word TV podcast, where you always hear a podcast day. And not mean say the aspiration or the name empire is no longer there. It is there. And as a matter of fact, the TNN, which is the short form for Then and Now TV Media Empire, is the mother organization. I hope we understand that. Maybe through the new year, we will manage to explain that better. But today, we want to more on something quick. We really want to more on something quick. And that issue involving Ibrahim Forna, we're based in the United States, and I believe he is a member of the United States Air Force, a member of the United States Air Force. And there's another guy commonly known as political hot goose. I think his name is Patrick Maada. I'm not sure about that. Please don't hold me responsible. I think. And I stand to be corrected when I within at the chat room. Please, Patrick Maada, or AKA Hot Goose, and Ibrahim Forna. Like I said, this one a quick one. Somebody sent a video to me, an audio to me, we contain the voice of Ibrahim Forna. And Ibrahim Forna, when they refer to allegations made by Patrick Maada, aka Hot Goose. You know, some guy who can say, if you touch me, you the fry. If you can hear me, you the nyaka nyaka, something like that. A funny caption, but he intend for make something serious. But I don't get a funny caption. So it is on so it appear for be funny, but on a more serious note. So now the issue is between these two guys. So Patrick Maada levy an allegation against Ibrahim Forna regarding coup plot, which recently happened in Sierra Leone, allegedly, still to be proven as yet. Let's get that correct. And let me the mistaking, here for this, yeah. Let me not be mistaken for this. So allegedly a coup plot will happen in Sierra Leone. Sorry, I just put my camera off a little bit, but at least when I get the audio there. So when I say let me get this twisted, because I sabi we to some extent now, the idea that I say alleged, and I want keyword we would only forget for the use. Now, one keyword we don't forget for the use now we platform whenever we address issues of this kind, which is we're supposed to understand the process with things they go through. And if things are not go through that process as at yet, where they qualify them for be as a charge, which is in legal term, if you are accused of something, then you stand accused. Now, allegation levied against you. I think by now we all know the process where you get for go through. Or let you get on the, you're kind of done. Or let you get some kind of done, yeah? So if that process did not happen yet, then it appear for be an allegation, okay? An allegation of some sort. So at least there is where we are for now. So an allegation. So this guy, Patrick Maada, aka political hot goose, levy an allegation, and this allegation is very serious. This allegation is about treason. This allegation is seditious. This allegation can cost people their life or their job and destruction of family and etc. These are all possibilities. We have to keep an open allegations of that kind on somebody else. It has to be taken seriously, and it is within this very context that Patrick Maada, aka political hot goose, been the act or been the talk or been the say. So much so that he infuriates Ibrahim Forna. He actually infuriates Ibrahim Forna, and Ibrahim Forna take a serious action against Patrick Maada. Some serious action. And that action, then I want to talk about a little bit from my own kind of understanding. Because first of all, what actually they happen, family, is whenever things then happen, now that don't happen lately in the country between ourselves, simply because somebody is critical of your side, we can just boil down to absolute and outright levying of allegations we totally uncalled for, sometimes made up. And you can levy an allegation. I mean, you can accuse somebody of something, but if you get evidence to that effect, you get for channel down it to the authority, especially within the context of this coup we talk about, where you get for use for make the case where you want for make. So now this naive Patrick Maada, due to how you call the young man Ibrahim Forna in America. On a story, I keep the ebb and flow. Just to get a little bit of traction. But again, a short podcast, a short note this, and we will end this pretty soon. The point I want to make is finally is Ibrahim Forna take some serious actions against political hot goose. Because what political hot goose do, it totally uncalled for. Totally uncalled for. And Ibrahim, if you watch, what I want to say is I am absolutely with Ibrahim on this one. I mean, we can't just descend into slander and smear. There is a consequence for all of this. Not so because you get access to microphone, data, and some gadget where you can use. Instead of you use them positively, instead you decide to use them negatively. I mean, this is totally uncalled for. And we don't do that within the last 5-10 years. And we just up the game on this particular nonsense idea. Pretty nonsense idea to be, in which as soon as something happened, because somebody happened to be on another hand, or somebody gets some critical mind, like for example, in this particular broadcast now, when I just hearing me say, for now, the coup, the alleged coup, the coup is an alleged coup. An alleged, not because the president say. It has to be proven beyond reasonable doubt, because there's some criminal elements to it. So therefore, you get people with no arrest, where they're accused of being participants in this alleged coup, where they help to provide evidence as to how the courts get to go about this, for bring about a prosecution, and for hand out a conviction on them people that wake up or can bring the coup. In other words, prove this thing that indeed waiting we say people are being accused of is indeed true, and various people in an action will make them guilty as charged, whose kind part will then play inside this particular didiba. Now, these political hot goose, they accuse Ibrahim Forna of. Say Ibrahim Forna na participant na the coup, something of that kind. I listen to the audio halfway and I get the gist, because this is just common, including myself, Sidona. So I really do appreciate the fact that Ibrahim Forna go to the extent of reporting this guy to the authority then. Okay? They actually reports this guy to the authority in America. In other words, the US Army. I mean, this guy's a responsible guy. In ancestral home, na Sierra Leone. So yes, it only talk about Sierra Leone. And there's nothing we say you can't talk about Sierra Leone. Probably the professor may find himself in a foreign country may have restrictions. We don't know whether it violate them restrictions then they to an extent. But that don't mean say it can't talk about in country. I'm sure there are limitations on what he can say, how he can say what he wants to say. But on a whole, he can talk about in country. They get relatives and they get family and they. So we can't use this now for slander and for smear. And in terms of the school plot, this is serious. Where people are not beginning to use guilty by association. You know, people are not run to conclusion. Guilty by association. Then see you take picture with somebody, you are guilty because you take picture with that person. Then Boku people then go guilty. Same thing with a president who is now helping the police with their investigations. Most of them blogger there don't say the former. Imagine they get their own kangaroo court. I know if you want to call on the court of public opinion, because court of public opinion can weigh in on some issues, but you got to be very, very convincing. But in many instances, we see not just out of malice, out of waiting we will call by that, now we local balance, and out of no love for the former president, and as divided as the country is supposed to be. Fambulena end the year the end so. Now end the year the end so. So we get elections about 6 months ago. About 6 months ago, we know the conflict or the conflict impact them on that election day, but still, as we come towards the end of the year, nothing is being done or has been done or improve the lives of Sierra Leoneans. Then nothing. Yet we get distracted by this coup. Suddenly, we forget say petrol price they up, and as a consequence of that, everything else they up in terms of food and other things. Then inflation still rising. The leons, the local currency, is still rubbish. The economy, no growth at all, is flat. Death, infant mortality on the rise. Okay. Pregnant women, they die. Every 1 time, pregnant woman, they will go give birth. You get over 700, almost 800 of them where they die. That are a very high and unacceptable mortality rate. And I believe say these are the things they will focus on. Yet we get distracted as the year they can end all the promises, the pillars of the government, the manifesto with them in Giwi will be so fine. We will stay 4 more years left, but inside the first 6 months, we'll not see nothing. We'll not see the structural adjustment, arrangement, development, the HDMI where they talk about, where the president can always talk about Human Development Index, HDI. I mean, I'm not one for call them a joke because this is really serious. But you can see the contradictions then when you try to talk developing the nation rather, HDI, and are supposed to waiting at the reality in terms of the structure where they're not gone. We're supposed to help for make that development, whether in schools or job opportunities or vocational education and etc. It's really, really kind of million picking there in a school, some 10 years ago. But now when you talk about an increase about 1 million back, we don't go school, which means that we get over 3 million picking and we don't go school. On the face of it, this is very, very good. I mean, those are the stats. It's very, very good. Government is spent 22%. Is the 22% enough? No, it's not enough. Is it a good endeavor? Yes, it is a good endeavor. Was it well thought out? In your mind? No, it wasn't. Because as a policy analyst myself, say you therefore develop you try before you channel them out there. But this one was just rushed out. Hence why we see the headache. The fact here is, we see parents then still they pay school fees and be supposed to be a free education. What is quite telling is the arguments that we can continue to make between ourselves. We not get consensus because why we are divided among or between party lines. If I belong to this party, I would defend within all the party they do, be it wrong or right. And that is not patriotic. That is not the definition of patriotism. That is allegiance or affiliation with a party, which is a part and parcel of a country, which is made up of, many more people than you are. Now, I make the allegiance, first of all, lie to the state, and after the state, and then you get the various parties that we are kind of affiliated with. But we can't take party or individual and put them over country. That is a diabolical mistake. And we know, say, we get people where they suffer from cognizant dissonance. That's what they're suffering from when it comes to supporting a party. Because say something is not right. But you can't just bear or sum up the courage for point fingers at your party and say, come on, this is totally uncalled for. I mean, something has to be done. If we don't criticize, governments will always feel say that what they do is right. Yeah, and it will continue for doing. But when they feel the wrath of the people by expressing ourselves, because that space has to be created. Remember, even the government don't say so many times. I don't get a political space in which we can have this discourse in a more decent and civilized way to disagree with the way our government go. That is a civic duty. It's a constitutional responsibility. But for say that's now one thing, and for acting out is completely another. But coming back again to the Ibrahim Forna and Gentle situation, like I say, actions of this kind where Ibrahim take are actions that I really, really do support. Because I've been a victim, not once, many times I've been a victim. I mean, there are people in the UK where instead of us having a civil discourse, because that's what I want to engage in, I can be very argumentative, I'm a theory debater, okay? But I like for one within within an environment which is receptive, which is sort of normal, which the bulk of the people can agree to. In other words, the atmosphere is okay for us to have a conversation where we go respect each other's position. We don't have to agree. Probably in the end, after having this back and forth, we may eventually agree. But when you get people them way, then business is only to insult you, and they don't. When I talk about insult, because you can insult somebody in a kind of different way, which hurts, but you are saying the truth. In other words, the insults where you throw at people are like, your idea is being very idiotic. That hurts, but it's the idea that's been where you try for propagate. Now, in then the attack, say the idea is idiotic or you are acting dumb. And then you therefore reach into yourself and find out, yes, that hurts, but am I acting dumb? Or you get people always have use the jargon them properly. So we can have them conversation. But when you get mommy calls, sister calls, daddy calls, and they talk about, I for one can't really stand that. And then get your family all kind of mixed up in, and all of it is just basic lies. Then you know that this is beyond something else. And what I want to let family know is, them platform there what we use, they get rules. They really do have rules, and we need for understanding rules then. So it's not because you've got access to a phone, a data, and whatever, a microphone, and therefore you think you can just go and just rant and just range your mouth on somebody where simply because you can't get along with them, you use that as an opportunity for just insult them left, right, and center. No, there are consequences. So like I mean, they say same thing being happened to me. And what I do, I get our evidence. You see, this is what we are talking about. You have to be smart. You have to be glued on. I get our boku evidence. And I took it to the police. Based on the evidence, it was overwhelming enough that what I present was strong enough for let them visit this individual them. And then visit about three of them. And they were warned. From when they warned them, take today. And then they come away. If they talk now privately or if they even come on the platform, na hint, or meet up na media, just hint. Not to direct lies, when they direct at you for nothing. No. And that's what I did. And this is why I back Ibrahim 110%. Treason is a serious offense. It's a very serious offense. You want to say Ibrahim involved, which means that you get evidence. You should have evidence, whether a hard one or circumstantial. Forward them to the authority. Yes, you can make an analysis of what you think and why and how you think that potentially this guy could be a participant, an accessory, or an accomplice rather, to the recent crime of the alleged coup in Sierra Leone. But you now, they act like judge, jury, and executioner. Who the hell are you? Who are you? And this has been ongoing time and time and again. And the idea that Ibrahim go to the authority there and report them, I'll listen to the tape and call I don't know, a sergeant at arms, then when they went inside army, and report the matter. And we read a brief conversation between them. And we know say what he say, it correct, because we know what's happening now with your media. And we read the other person where Ibrahim they talk to, they ask him about XYZ, where Ibrahim just provide basics. And then basics, then the way Ibrahim provide, we read the respondent at the other side, they say, well, in this case, no, this is not really called for. In other words, what Patrick is alleged to be doing or have done or said is totally uncalled for, which means that they are now going to visit him and have a conversation with him. That's what's going to happen. This now interview now is going to happen. It's not going to go free. It's not going to go free. So based on evidence where this man go submit, Ibrahim go submit, then they use that and go visit Patrick. And Patrick not in a Freetown for goodness sake, he in America. So it's just easy. And they operate under American jurisdiction. And this is a serving person inside the United States Armed Forces, the how you call them, the Air Force. Okay, so now look into when one of the young complain. So then they go visit Patrick and then they go have a word with him. And I have no doubt that Patrick will be one because they say, and when he done the say, you understand where he's coming from. He's a party fanatic. He's one of those rabid supporters of the party. I think the official of the party in some way, at some point, he get disgruntled in some sense. And then he find him way back and he bearing, he settle down, party picking, so then begin for defend the party and etc. and etc. But nobody really say you cannot defend your party. You have to, yeah, especially if somebody they come at you. So let me, you play the devil's advocate here for one moment. Ibrahim is a critique of the government. That's established fact. There are many videos and audios of him and then criticizing the government. The criticism of the government is important to look at waiting it criticize. Waiting it criticize, what I mean by that, is it out of malice? Is it out of reality? In other words, what they talk, is it real? And we know say it real because the thing when they touch on, and then Sabi for go over and over then things they are. He emits them, which is Cashbox, and what the guy named Koita, who is now in detention in Freetown on the basis of this alleged coup, which the one used for Connect, Koita, and then Ibrahim, and Cashbox too. Well, me know they say, in fact, I say clearly at this point, they were not involved or they're not involved, except if you've got evidence to the contrary, or to the effect rather, say they were involved. And if you do, send them down na Freetown, send them down to the authorities. This investigation is fluid. In other words, it's ongoing. So send the clue where you get done there. Let these professionals down, they investigate. So not because we take picture. I get pictures of where I take with Cashbox. I've never met Ibrahim before. No. I don't meet Koita 1 or 2 times. I don't interview her several times. Hopefully one of these days, while they wrap up this year in review, where they come, I think we get them on the 31st of this month, the end of this month, we go run into the new year. I might manage for cuts, edit some of them, clip and then play them. So I've had this back and forth with Koita, yeah, who was a good talker. Okay, and even they talk about burning issues. But you can now say, because they pointed those same fingers at me, some people, complete madness. Okay, so that means we would go and go catch everybody, because me and that person we pass by each other in the supermarkets, and probably we stop for a brief moment for exchange pleasantries. So as a consequence of that, I am now guilty. For check that guy in the ordinary interview, that you forget to know that this is my work that I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. So I ask the questions, and another say, don't look at me as a suspect. It's all up to you. You can look at me as a suspect, but when you want to levy the allegation against me, you get to be careful how you levy this allegation, and please don't do it out of malice. Because so it seemed like, because this group of people were very critical of the Julius Maada Bio government for good reasons that are stated earlier, the state of the economy is poor. For over 5 years of the Maada Bio government, the state of the economy has just been in a downturn form. So losses, both financial, the financial institutions then are not doing well at all. I tell you, fiscal very poor. Bank governor, 68 million bribe, change of money, 30, they not tell me how much they spend, how much they print. All of these things that are supposed to provide an insight into accountability, which is a consequence of good governance. And if somebody send me a picture, say the president, they attend a conference somewhere, they say about good governance. What are you doing there? Charity begins at home. Charity begins at home. Or maybe you go learn about good governance, and then until then, please don't tell us about good governance. Please don't. The regime has been treacherous to some extent. You can see that in some cases, they will have to prosecute people in order for them to rein people in. Because if people have become lawless, government get a responsibility for acts. But the excesses over the last 6 years are many in terms of intimidation, coercion, leading up to election, which remains controversial. It's not only the APC or opposition that are complaining about the outcome of the results, but the international community, who are a major player, a partner in our progress, in our democracy, they also complained, to a point where the MCC Compact, to which we were a candidate, being a recipient potentially of over 400 million, was suspended. These are all facts. So we're Sierra Leoneans, and they express this. I know that some Sierra Leoneans, and they express them in malice, wishing that the Bio government does not get it. Those Sierra Leoneans, I say, una not bad, that's people, una not get no place in that society. We condemn una, because the 400 million kind of the country, well, of course, under the current circumstances, a lot of it, go be spirited away into foreign bank accounts, private accounts, and private pockets. But they try to say that the country will benefit a lot, because some of it will be thrown into developmental projects, where eventually will bear fruits, where the fruits of those, whatever it bear, could benefit or profit the people, some of the people. But at least that's money that's out there for us, provided that we meet the criteria or requirements set by the compact. This is what the problem is. Okay. So you find out people, they can make false allegations against people. And whenever a small thing happened, August 10 was the same thing, quick. They don't create a list. And then list, and there's some of these people that will create a list there, they get connections down in Freetown. They talk about both diaspora and Dongbe. The one way they are, where they compile and list there, then they get connections down there and compile and list there, then send them down. I know for sure that the internal investigation unit can, and this is part of their job, they can analyze some of them platform there of ours and see potentially who is extreme, and those who are liberal, and those who've got a potential for cause mayhem and chaos, and those who do not. But the bottom line is, you get institutions then don't they? We're able to investigate the matter there. Other than we, Naya, they act like judges, jury, and executioner, as if we know it. Some of we are medical doctor, not know anything about security. Some of we are political analysts, them don't know anything about security. I mean, there are variances in profession, and every profession will have to be given the opportunity for let them act in a capacity so that we will see the best of an outcome which a nation may desire. But of course, we don't become so, I'm divided, so politically toxic, so tribally affiliated and sympathetic identity politics that we politics not grow at all, because for the nation politics for grow, there has to be a convergence between east and west, north and south. In other words, the country as a whole, north, northwest, south, southeast, the need for find a convergence point somewhere in the middle and rally around, most likely, the government of the day, not the nation for make progress. Not on a basis there. So Ibrahim, I support you. If you watch, which I believe you're doing, I support you in your action where you take against political hot goose. There has to be a line. I mean, we can be critical of each other, but we have to do it responsibly. We really get for doing responsibly. Your thoughts don't have to necessarily align with mine. No, it does not have to. I mean, the political leadership in the country just the fool we left, right, and center. And when I say the political leadership, I'm not only referring to those that are in power now. I'm talking about with political elite, both opposition and government. This is exactly what they do to we the people. And today, we didn't have to argue among ourselves, they cost ourselves, while standing up and go before the thievery and etc. They get a tripartite talk where they go on. And for the past couple of weeks, there is a slang match between both sides. This they try to for accuse this of that, then they try for accuse that of that, which again is a complete distraction as to what the reality on the ground is. And this is really pathetic. The blame game. Pardon me. Oh, now you responsible. No, you responsible. Oh, we supposed for do this. Oh, because the other chief will supposed for sit down pan the meeting, no kind. So rubbish. And like I say again, in the meantime, the country continue for sink into dire strait. And the year 9 end so. 9 end so, not when 9 end so. We basically got like 9 days left in an entire year made up of 365 days. So can you imagine? 365 days. About 355 of those days are gone. It left barely 9 more days. And that's the end of 2023. And it will never come again. When you miss out, you have to make up in the future. If you're not given the opportunity, it's never going to happen. So the one they look up to, then they did a bicker among themselves. And then we get the distraction of the alleged coup. So a good opportunity for government for play on for weeks, if not months, because the investigation still drag on, and that's where people's attention are focused. In the meantime, the year ends on a pathetic note. Poverty is still on the rise. I always talk about this because it's there to me, because I'm a man of the nation. I'm patriotic in my duties. That's what I'm concerned about. Food price just to go up left, right, and center. It's not getting any better. And it's not going to get any better soon. And just like 2 years ago, the world was focused on something major that was happening in the east of Europe, which is Russia and Ukraine, which had so much economic impact on many nations, including your own tiny nation. But politically as well, this is where the powers that be were focused, because there was a major crisis with the potential for destabilize the world security. In fact, as we speak, world security is destabilized, and waiting the world need now is a new world order, a new security architecture. Definitely, because the old one is in tatters. And this is what this fight is about. And as the Nepal not done itself, now with the Middle East, Israel and the Palestinian then, i.e. Hamas, that's ongoing, a very serious crisis in which over 20,000 people, plus the one that were under the rubble, spike up the number even more, with over 60,000 people wounded in a crisis which is about 70 to 80 days. 70 to 80 days, that number of people killed. We know one day happen in any conflict apart from Hiroshima, where they dropped the bomb, where consume over 250,000 people. I mean, the duration of the conflict and the disproportionate way in terms of the die ratio. Yeah. Now in the border, many decent and civilized people. And that crisis still they go on with a potential for expand. Because now the world global route trade is being threatened by the Yemenis because of the same war where they go on Gaza. The Yemenis are attacking ships, which means that insurance don't go up if the ship they want to use that route there, because there are three main routes they wouldn't use, which is the Red Sea, the Suez Canal, and the Bab al-Mandeb, something like that, strait. Nine in the use. Now that's been threatened because then they don't capture ships, they don't board ships, and they don't send drones then for attack ships. Now the United States don't form a coalition. But what can they really do? What can they do? That's the point. I mean, you can get a carrier now the Red Sea or the Mediterranean, but this is not like before. This is not the difference. Now you get drone technology, which smaller nations even get, we can cause problem for a mighty carrier with planes and helicopters, attack helicopters, and etc. Before then, this had no rival. Now, it's still powerful, but not as it were before. It can be attacked, it can be sunk. And it just means that the waters become wide. So within ship that they do now, then they take the longer route and go around Africa. And I hope African countries, African governments will come together and make sure say they maximize the benefit of these routes being used. The need for pay for using these routes, and then for pay the appropriate cost. So one disappointment is another blessing. So this should benefit Africans. So all anything there they happen, the distraction, that's where the world major powers are focused, not to Lili Salome. So we will continue for dinner the darkness. Electricity is still unsustainable. Hopefully, this major project running through the Ivory Coast, Liberia, and etc., go kicking this coming year, 2024. So hopefully, this issue of electricity will put an end with once and for all, which I've always been calling for. I mean, if running water we not get, totally, governments they go and come, they make half running water there, and then we sing praises for them. It has to be sustainable. I mean, you talk about development, you not get running water. Family will not believe in a big fool and a big fool. You talk about development, you not get water, you not get electricity. Then two things that are a key component of any nation with desire for development. Two key components of any nation with desire for development. Because one is show civilization. That this is a nation which is civilized. They get running water, they get pipe there where you open faucet, water they run. Where you put switch on, electricity they generate, lights they come on. And if you get them one, and which means that you get factories, you get offices, you get things happening, and you will get other people and they come because of course you get electricity. You can make use out of it. But you don't. And then you talk about foreign and indirect investment, all them big word. When also so cut towards company, then I ain't a green card, can pay less tax, pay 10% tax, 5% go to government official and pocket, and then take 5%. In fact, they're not even a shame of me to say. Then we'll take 8%, put it in their pocket, and then take 2% and put it in the country imports, just to benefit them. That's all. So politics don't become the means to an end, if not the end to a means. And then we, the surrogate, then decide just to insult each other every day. Cause people let mama them, cause people and sister them, For official, we just they fatten up. President get electricity 24/7. They get running water 24/7. But the hospital, when a public hospital cannot, how many decades now? Who will be the go cannot, who will be small? If it's still white, I mean, when they don't paint them, fine. So I think I've been white and blue, but remember the white clean. And you get electricity, get department, they get cleaner, they get potter, them, get bid, them, the people the way they clean. That was it. So you see that memory then for those of us who don't carry this kind of age, the feeling of salon is completely kind of different. I remember a few months back, me and a guy, they talk about train. He feels I'm not right train. Apparently, it make a wrong judgment on my age because I think that was the difference there. Nobody knows they're old enough or don't ride train. So I say I ride train many times. I no, you can't. It's not possible. Yes, I did. I ride double decker bus in a salon. Yeah. Anyway, Ibrahim, thank you for the action taken. And me, they admonish all Sierra Leoneans then, bloggers, vloggers, whatever thing you do on the web, networking. If you come under then sustain attack there, because this is not a criticism, this is an attack, verbal attack, ad hominem, curse, mommy curse, sister curse, this, that, and lies, pure lies. Make sure say you get at the evidence. Except that person in that village in alone, because that would be a complete waste of time. But if they any sign of the developed world in the West, you can take action against them. By the number, then can chase them. Some of the people in what lodge complain against, if they team up before me, so I not sabi them. Let's be honest. And I'm sure so don't cross path becoming a person way they out there almost every other day. I'm sure we don't cross path. But if they team up before me, I don't know them. Sometimes I want virtual space now they will meet how you call on social media, WhatsApp or other groups. And the attention will be paid to social media as we platform they grow bigger. You get less time, for the scourge through WhatsApp. Every morning, we'll be beginning. Would they ask people, and can you please join my group, or I want to let you join the group? Now, every morning we posting graph, they don't join in a 2-3 platform. Even for common platform, they now say because as you come on, so they put you. So posting don't left from. I get past 100,000 messages then. Past 100,000 messages. One of the things that we're ever able to read. Then just did it. Let's be honest about this. Yeah. I just shown a clue. See? Look at this. Now the phone saved the load. So when I just switch my phone on, I got to wait for like a minute or a minute and a half for let it load proper. All these are messages. Now tell me they read all of them. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Who's that way we read all the messages? Yeah. So you see the dilemma? This is what we're in. So you focus on certain targets, people that way are constructive, people that way so you will learn from, or you will get good material from that you can use. So this is what I've learned to do, kind of lately. And then once in a while, you will get people in way because I tend not to pay attention to the negatives any longer. That's a complete waste of time, especially when you get work for do and you day in a hurry. Time and time waits for no man. The clock doesn't stop ticking because of you. It is doing job. Tick, 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 1 minute, tick, tick, 2 minutes, 1 hour. Just like that, and the day is gone. And the year 9, they can't finish. So, what you do? What did you do? What did government do? How did we fare this year? In 2023, and it goes so. Yet we'll go back and make resolutions. I know they say we're not going to make resolutions. I'm not going to make any this year. I mean, next year. Yeah. We just go along and do what you're supposed to do. But then we'll send notes to you and say, hey, yeah, what is this person say about you? Hey, go, paddy man or sister, but you know, answer and there for me. Except yourself believe, you're waiting in the zero and you can't bring the talk. But if you know me, by character, at least you can try for defend me because I will do the same thing for you. If somebody says something which is absolutely beyond the pale, and I don't know person for such, even though some of we get skeleton and we close there. But waiting, I know I will try for defend you for say, but I don't know that person there for such, and not send this to me again, send it to the person. Yeah, just like that. Some of them place you back for let you react because some people end up banter on social media, nine the leg, the back and forth. But the bottom line is action can be taken against people where try for smear, character, assassinate you. It's a crime. People then stop you, just stalking you, just be you no more. They make false allegations. You pass so then did it. When you pass so then did it. That's a crime. That's a crime. You can get out that information there and make a statement, lodge complaint. First of all, depending on the gravity of waiting to happen, you can go to the administrators them of the page, and they talk about we ourselves now, and they talk about the owners. Let's say WhatsApp, for example, and you complain to them. You submit, some report. Then can ban that person there, and they try to talk about number. So you don't need for know that person in address or whatever, but that person in number. The police has a way of tracing, and I saw them do. That person then when we go report, I don't get a number. I remember when I get a report, go and say, "Do you know their addresses?" I said no, and I felt that that would have hindered the process to some extent because person can get false number and what have you. But this is the police; they get so much resources. If they want to track you down, they will track you down. Eventually, they acted, and those people were warned. They were warned. So I'm quite impressed by what Ibrahim do because a precedent has to be set that if we have a conversation, let's have it. Let's disagree. Let's have this fiery debates. Okay? Let's have a go at each other, but in a constructive way in which when we emerge or when the country emerge is for the country's good or benefit. Not just burn down bridges and you can't build them. You can't connect people. You broke the network or you kasara the network, and then you can't build the network. On which basis now will you go kasara network? This is what we need to avoid. This bad influence, this badat, this nonsense, this connection and tied to regime, which they bring this cognitive discordance, dissonance rather, why they talk about simply because you support. I understand that you support, you get a right for support. But don't you understand that I've got a right to critique as well? And especially if it is government? Because sometimes I'm not supposed to go and involve inside people in private party matter like now another thing where people can do. You want to tell the party, another party, where you know to member of a party come together and agree on certain things. Sometimes there are signatories to waiting and agree to. So once you don't sign up to something, it can be appalling, but that's what you sign up to. So that signature date on that document day, it means say you are bound to what you sign to and in the government. Then somebody else they come on and do the example what they try to make is the two political parties. You can get person the commander, they can talk about a political party, how a cultist, without the definition of being a cult, even fitting or denoting what that party they stand for, or what exactly going. I mean, such is the level world on which is it's really, really disturbing, to be honest. And you get for worry for your country as to how far your country will go. Again, this is why I agree with what the brother do. Anybody, hear me now. We try for bring nonsense to you. One for insult you simply because of your views. when you pass through, then they follow you and follow you, stalking, trolling. That is not acceptable. Get at the evidence, lay complaint, then they warn such people for stop that. There has to be rules. Listen to Lion Kingdom with the we lion they run buffalo, they run behind buffalo. Hyena they run behind kudo. Boma they run behind arata. Fox they run behind this. No, there's an order, and that order has to be followed. It has to be respected. So now that they begin do to the border. So now, because they say in Equator, they get a unit where they talk and for talk against the government, which they are entitled to. Absolutely get right. You may suspect him, but you suspicion when you get, where you don't talk in an abstract way, because you have to take them out even to talk that. But I know not direct accusation. This is what they do. That you're guilty. Long before the trial, them don't find you guilty. And like I said from the beginning of the program, treason, not a joke. The last time I talk about coup, people can talk about coup openly now. Where will they come up? Goodness me. Or generally the word coup or the C word, because you don't want to call the whole word. It was the forbidden word. Fearful. Now, close quarter, now they talk and not to openly. Now I see people are openly calling for coup. Coup. So if you call for coup, you see these are the things. If you call for coup so openly and directly, then maybe when an attempt happens, you can equally be called upon for assist government with investigation. Say, if they call for this business here, so look what's happening now. We see something where it relates to coup. Maybe you want help with. But I don't think Ibrahim and others were calling for that other than just being critical of government, which I absolutely agree with. I don't agree with the loop, the over and over and over and over. But they were forced to reckon with. The trio, and sometimes they had the fourth guy. Yeah, there was a force to reckon with because they talk about national issues. So well done, Ibrahim. I hope this serves as an example for all the others then we want for go down that way or we want to continue for go down that way. We feel say there is no other way around this. And we'll just continue because I don't like this person I can just easily lie on them. I can easily just create it, deal with. So that when we go on holiday, then so government will arrest me. Government self get responsibility for beginning one them people there say, yes, we look up to una for help with information we wanna get, but the information we wanna gather and how they go about them with una fellow citizen has to be done responsibly. Governments also get a responsibility for telling you people them. Not just give them carte blanche, white card, so you can do whatever you want to do. As long as you support we go look after them. Almost like the Israeli case in terms of the settler them and settlement. Settlers, then they don't give them gun now. When they're ready, they just go and go shoot the Palestinian people. Can you imagine? So in the flip side, this is why they support we. So not a problem. When they do no more, what they do? Would they back on up? That shouldn't be the case. Ibrahim Forna, well done. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been a TNN media production. Will they come to now again maybe before New Year's Day, because we have a year in review. We get for run from 11 to 12 into the new year. We go try to entertain questions from the public, what people and feel say happen throughout the year 2023, what could have been done, what wasn't done, how it was done, their expectations, and what have you. We'd expect to have a conversation. Briefly going into 2024, we'd expect to make the platform a more people's-oriented platform. We go forget about them big one then, because them big one and they're on the level of their own. They can feel say they want to use people, and after you've been used, they can just dump you. So what we go do, we go focus on people try to tap into people's power and try to encourage people and for use the platform for express their feelings. We know if you get people throttling towards TNN TV media, you will get the politicians them right behind. In other words, if you get Ayata them Boku now you oath, now you dwelling, pretty soon you will get how you call them snakes. They come into your domain for can act like clean up guys because they are at the day, then they can't eat them. So that's what TNN will try to do this coming year. And remember, you will hear most likely when they say podcast now. And if you look now with flyer, that's what you will begin for see. Okay. I think we get about 4, 6, or 8 messages. So they know very much. Let we do some respect to those who make their contribution in terms of messages, questions, or whatever. Let we hear you waiting and see. So one first, we get okay. That's brother Abu Mansari. He's greeting us all the way from Holland. Yes, my dear brother, how are you? Massive respect. Merry Christmas to you and the family. You get like minds. This name looks new. After a while, you get familiar with certain names. Yeah. So I say hello to you all. So hello to you as well. I'm not sure whether you're a man or a woman, whatever the case. We say greetings to you, and I wonder also you they watch we from. So all right, the usual Patrick Dowders. Let's see what Tim Patrick for say. This preponderance of the evidence is what always lead to a conviction. Oh yeah, absolutely. But that's what we are saying now, that the evidence has to be produced. And those tasked with the responsibility then get the right for look into RAM and weigh the balance as to what in that evidence they represent on whether it deserves a conviction or not. So in other words, we are talking about the rule of law. That's very true. Many thanks for that. Yeah, not familiar name. That's Brother Jerry Brown. Mr. Chroma, 3 million kids going through the school education system, with 2 million of them be absorbed into the job. Okay, will 2 million of them be absorbed into the job market? That's a critical question, and this is what we are talking about. You see, this is where technically we can be critical of government and people in need for listen, and we're not just criticize because we are. But the brother asks quite a critical question. Even within 2 million a day, before then 2 million a day, it has always been a problem that the graduates that the system is churning out, there are no job opportunities for the number of graduates that have been churned out of the system. So as a consequence, in and around Freetown, I've seen this, witnessed this myself during my many times I used to visit. When I'm driving, when I'm riding public transport, for example, Keke and etc., you'll find out that the driver is a graduate of the FBC, Meltimagai, Jala, or one of these, top institutions. But they have resorted into driving Keke for living. Imagine you have an engineer graduate, a law graduate, driving a Keke. Why would they? Because why? There's no opportunity on the side for the description of the job. You see, it's not there. So that's the question brother is asking. You can have the propaganda of saying 1 million children, which is good, have been absorbed into the system. But what happens eventually as these children goes through the system? Because it's like a chute. You've got others that are ahead of them. So as these ones are coming in, they are pushing those that they met, and those that they met are pushing the others that are above them, and eventually they will come out, which is there will be a bunch of graduates and others will take the places of those graduates. So if there are no opportunities for those that are eventually become the graduates, that in itself is a problem. So you're shooting out a lot of educated people with no chance or opportunity to jobs at all because it is not available. So when you talk about HDI, Human Development Index, it's a chain of issues that's supposed to support itself, a chain of issues that's supposed to support whatever you're trying to pan out. So you putting people into school, accommodating more people into school, it implies that you have to build more infrastructure, more structures has to be built. Okay. And eventually, as they go into the system, more teachers, more quality, good pay, salaries, and etc. And as they come out, they have to be employed. There should be a job market out there for them. And then once they get absorbed into that job market, the nation grows. But this is not the case. So it's all this propaganda and big talk about, yes, free education, and we're not. You don't want us to talk about the basics. Many thanks for that, Brother Jerry Brown. That's a very good point there. Let's see what Peter Dowda has to say. Sierra Leoneans like Ibrahim Forna are the type of people that America deployed to carry out their regime change operations. Okay, that's for Ibrahim Forna and the Americans to attend to that. Brother Jerry Brown says, Mr. Kroma, the state of the economy is not only poor, but in a coma. I would agree with your description because the state of the economy actually denotes the description that you've just given. And it's been so for a while. I do agree. We have, this name looks new, Richard Ofori, sounds Ghanaian. WASCE results, upgrading WASCE results, upgrading WASCE results. Upgrading WASCE results is just a means of changing your bad grades to any desired WAEC results of your choice without any future effects. All students who could not perform in their WASCE examinations should quickly message me now. Your results can be upgraded. This person looks like he's in advertising the advert. Really, Mr. Fori. This is the last one for tonight. A slim tube. Until the disaggregated data is produced reflecting the true will of the people, the government, and by extension, its citizens, will not know true peace. If Liberia can get it right, what is our excuse? All right. That's for the government to answer. Many thanks, a slim tube, for the contribution. On a personal note, I think we have to move on, to be honest. This is something that we can look into in the future. We cannot afford to stall the country already as to USAID now, because it's just going to get bad for the people. And I'm sure say the intent is a better welfare, a better way of life for the people. But we continue to make these demands and say, well, we're not moving forward. It's going to be more difficult for country and people. You see, that's why the opposition has agreed to a tripartite conversation, a dialogue for form something, we will take the country go forward instead of this aggression and things like that. Somewhere along the line, we need to move on. And I think at that point they don't reach. Anyway, Fambune, like I say, there are many things going to happen within the media platform in the year. On behalf of my family and myself and the entire Then and Now media platform, I wish everybody a Merry Christmas, a prosperous, new, fantastic, God-graced, God-driven New Year. It's been a TNN TV Media Empire production. I am Prince Samuel Kroma. It's a good night for now. Thank you all so much. Good night. We got so much coming for you in this new year. Bye for now.